What if I told you that every single thing you bought this week just became more expensive, and you probably didn't even notice? Right now, Americans are facing an average tariff rate of 17.4%, the highest since 1935, and it's hitting your wallet harder than any tax increase in recent history. If you've ever wondered why your grocery bill feels heavier, why that furniture you needed suddenly costs thousands more, or why your small business is struggling to compete, this video is for you. But wait, before we begin, please subscribe to ensure that you never miss out on any of my essential stuff. Comment, "I subscribe" below, and I will personally welcome you to our community. With that said, let's get started. Here's something that'll shock you. There's a hidden tax that just hit your family, but it doesn't show up on any bill, any receipt, or any government notice. It's invisible, it's legal, and it's costing you thousands. Meet Sarah, a 34-year-old working mom from Ohio. Every week, she'd do her Target run, diapers, groceries, household stuff. Same routine for years. Her weekly bill, always around $120. But over the past 6 months, Sarah noticed something strange. Same items, same quantities, but now she's paying $143. Every single week. Sarah thought maybe it was just her imagination. Maybe she was buying more. But when she checked her receipts, the math was brutal. The Trump tariffs amount to an average tax increase of nearly $1,300 per U.S. household in 2025. That's Sarah's story, and it's probably your story too. But here's what nobody's telling you. The real cost isn't just money. It's what's happening to families like yours. Let me tell you about James. He's 45, works construction in Michigan, and after a flood damaged his kitchen, he needed new cabinets. Nothing fancy, just basic functionality for his family of 4. James did his research, got quotes, budgeted carefully. $8,000. That was his number. Then came the shock. Kitchen cabinets and bathroom vanities will be hit with a 50% levy. His $8,000 quote, now $12,000. For $1,000 more. That wasn't his budget. That was his kid's college fund. James felt sick. His insurance covered the flood damage, but not the tariff increase. He had 2 choices: live with a destroyed kitchen or sacrifice his children's future. The emotional weight of that decision, choosing between your home and your kid's education, that's what these tariffs really cost. But James discovered something that saved him $3,000, and I'll tell you what it was in a moment. Wait, what if I told you this is just the beginning? Meet Michael, a 52-year-old independent trucker from Texas. For 20 years, he'd been saving for a new rig. His old truck was breaking down, costing him loads and repairs, and he knew he needed to upgrade to stay competitive. He'd saved $80,000 enough for the truck he needed. Then the tariffs hit. Imported heavy trucks will be subject to a 25% duty. His $80,000 truck now costs $100,000. $20,000 he didn't have. Michael faced a choice: bankruptcy or breaking the law by continuing to drive unsafe equipment. This isn't just about money, this is about a man's livelihood, his family's survival, and the legal requirements of his profession. He couldn't afford the new truck, but driving without proper equipment meant losing his commercial license. No license, no job. No job, no way to pay for the truck anyway. It's a vicious cycle that's trapping thousands of American truckers. Then he found a legal workaround that's helping thousands of truckers navigate this crisis. But there's a hidden danger no one's telling you about. The global economy is unraveling faster than anyone predicted. Global real GDP growth is expected to be 1.4% in the fourth quarter of 2025, down from 2.1% at the start of the year. That might sound like boring economics, but here's what it means for you. Fewer jobs, less money circulating, higher prices on everything. And here's the twist nobody saw coming. Indonesia just announced they won't retaliate against Trump's 32% tariff on their goods. Sounds good, right? Wrong. When countries don't fight back, they find other ways to hurt American businesses. Lisa learned this the hard way. She's 38, owns a small import business in California, specialized in handmade crafts from Southeast Asia. She had 3 major Indonesian suppliers who'd worked with her for 8 years. Good relationships, quality products, steady profits. Within 1 month of the tariff announcement, all 3 suppliers dropped her. Not because of the tariffs themselves, but because they decided to focus on European and Australian markets instead. Countries that weren't imposing punitive taxes on their goods. Lisa lost 60% of her revenue overnight. 8 years of relationship building gone. But she pivoted using one simple strategy that's now growing her revenue by 40%, and I'll share that strategy with you. That's when things got worse. The inflation numbers everyone's talking about, they're not telling you the whole story. The average cost of living in July was up 2.7%, but that's just the average. For families buying imported goods, which is pretty much everyone, the real impact is much higher. Let me break this down in terms you can feel in your wallet. Your $50 weekly grocery bill, it's actually costing you $51.35 because of tariff pass-through costs. Your $1,200 monthly rent just went up by $400. Tariffs added $73 of that increase. Your kids' school supplies, your work clothes, your car repairs, everything that has this invisible tax attached to it. PCE price inflation for 2025 is expected to climb to 2.7%, up 0.2 percentage points, while core PCE inflation is forecast to increase 0.3 percentage points to 3.1%. Those decimal points represent hundreds of dollars coming out of your family budget every month. But here's what savvy families are doing to protect themselves and why some Americans are actually getting richer from these same tariffs. You heard me right. Some people are making money from this crisis. Consumer spending rose 0.6% in the key back-to-school shopping month of August, but here's the key detail everyone's missing. That increase was almost entirely from wealthy households who can afford to stockpile goods before prices rise further. Let me tell you about David. He's 28, works in tech, makes good money but nothing crazy. When the tariff announcements started coming out in January, David did something brilliant. He researched every product he regularly bought, identified which ones would be hit by tariffs, and found domestic alternatives. But here's the genius part. He didn't just switch suppliers. He invested in the American companies that would benefit from reduced foreign competition. Solar panel installers, furniture manufacturers, steel producers. In 8 months, David made $15,000 in profits, while simultaneously reducing his household expenses by switching to domestic alternatives. The wealthy know something you don't. Every crisis creates opportunities, and tariffs are no different. While middle-class families struggle with higher prices, people with disposable income are positioning themselves to profit from the same policies, causing everyone else pain. And it's not what you think. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Tariffs are the most regressive tax system imaginable. They hurt poor and middle-class families the most because these families spend a higher percentage of their income on goods. Meanwhile, wealthy families who spend more on services and have investment portfolios actually benefit from the domestic market protection and investment opportunities. It's economic inequality acceleration disguised as economic patriotism. So here's what I want to know. Would you rather pay an extra $3,800 this year to protect American jobs, or find legal ways to avoid these hidden taxes while still supporting local businesses? Because here's the reality. Those protected American jobs, many of them require cheaper imported raw materials that are now more expensive because of tariffs. So we're protecting some jobs while destroying others, and families like Sarah's, James's, and Michael's are paying the price. Drop a fire if you think tariffs help America, or a money bag if you think they're just a hidden tax on working families. And if you want to see the 7 legal strategies families are using to reduce their tariff burden by up to 60%, the same strategies David used to turn this crisis into profit, let me know in the comments, and I'll create that video next. Because the game is rigged, but that doesn't mean you have to lose.